on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here to review Married at First Sight. We are still on season 20 and we are on episode 13 only. I only watched episode 13 and I am worn out. I am worn out. I am emotionally worn out. Um, Courtney, I'm not even a violent woman. In fact, I can't really even fight, but I think I would fight Courtney. I think I would. It's kind of sad for me to say that, but I think I would fight her because that's just like how much I don't really like her. And towards the end of the show, I wouldn't have been able to just sit there and listen to what she said. Um, I just would have been so deeply offended by it, and there would have just been so much. I don't know. I wouldn't have been able to sit there and listen to what she said. I remember when Courtney first came on the season, and she kept saying she was afraid that the guy would run away at the altar. She was afraid that, he wouldn't like her. And this tells me that this isn't the first time Courtney's been here. People have told Courtney about herself, thus probably all the rejection in her life. But for some reason, she wants to keep showing up as the same person. All of that inside of Courtney is just really dark and it's really, really evil. I'm going to say it. I wouldn't even want to be around that spirit that is sort of living within Courtney because I think it's just that dark. It lashes out. It seeks to destroy. It's a really bad spirit. Yeah, it was hard to watch. I don't even know why they chose her. Maybe because they saw it in her. I often think sometimes they choose these people because they're going to make good TV. And I'm going to say this about Courtney. I'm glad they put her on TV. Some people will say, why did she get chosen? I think she needs to come on TV so everybody can really see it and everybody can look out for it. This is the person that if you meet them in your real life, you run away. Maybe this will spark deja vu for some people. Maybe if you're out there dating and next thing you know, you come across some person, you say, God, this looks so familiar. And then you'll say, you know what this person reminds me of? Courtney from Married at First Sight. And the minute you make that connection, I want you to turn around and run away. Turn around and run away. But before we get all deep into that, let's first talk about the way in which the show kind of unfolded. And we first saw Adam and Marissa's journey. And Marissa was confiding in her friends that, we just had Adam's perfect day, which was playing pickleball all day, but it wasn't her perfect day. And she said now that she finally spoke up to Adam and told Adam that, hey, this is not my idea of fun. This is unsustainable for me just to do everything you want to do and you not to consider me. And ever since then, the vibe is off. The vibe is off. I mean, Marissa said she wanted to do other things besides pickleball and jet ski. She had said, I want to spend time with my friends. You really haven't seen my friends. And the first time we see Marissa's friends, he don't even have the decency to be around that much. He went to go work out. He came to that little friend group meeting at the very last minute. He don't give a damn about no one but himself. I'm glad Marissa got some married friends because hopefully they'll give her the real deal. And her married friends told her, you don't need to have the same exact hobbies as your husband. And Marissa said, yeah, in the past, she's always felt like even her friend said, she felt like she had to sort of morph into what the guy wanted. But once Adam did come home, he tried to gaslight everybody and say, well, it's not her, it's me. She's more normal than I am. And they asked him, well, why did you want to get married in the first place? And he never really answered the question. All he did was say, I wanted it since I was 18 or 19. Well, maybe his answer was he wanted companionship. Now, maybe some people think that's sweet, but what I'm going to say is at 18 or 19, for a young man to be so enamored or wishing for marriage, I'm actually going to say that's a bit odd, because around that time is typically when people are really enjoying their own friends. Something tells me, just like those parents didn't show up, just like family didn't show up, that Adam doesn't really know how to form friendships and relationships. And he hasn't known how to form them for a very, very, very long time. And maybe his loneliness in 18 or 19 said, hey, because I don't know how to form friends, what I really want is a person all on my own that can never or ever leave me. And in his mind, he felt that was a wife. A wife became the person that basically just does everything he wants and caters to him, because that's really what he wanted. He wanted someone to sort of care and cater for him. And now he's embodied that in a wife. I don't think Adam has had a lot of friends. He doesn't really even get along too well with people on the show, if we're really honest. Has Adam bonded with anyone? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Adam's style of relationship is transactional. You do what I want and we'll be okay. Um, but he said he liked Marissa's sense of humor, her supportive nature, of course, and how comforting she is. Exactly. All the things that he wants: supportive, laugh at his jokes, and be comforting to him. And I think those are sort of the wounds that Adam is looking to heal. Adam presents as if he's really this strong guy, but truthfully, he's really wanting another person to kind of heal his own wounds. And he doesn't offer much for another person. He really doesn't. He comes off with this strong persona, but if you really peel back the layers, who does Adam care for, right? Who does he give to? We've never really even seen it. He's a taker. He's not a giver, which means he doesn't even feel himself that he has extra capacity to give to anyone. He himself, as much as he comes off, he's a strong guy, independent guy, he really isn't, because he's requiring this woman, Marissa, to be with him all the time, to devote her entire life to him. Adam says he's independent and strong, but he's actually the opposite. You see, that's why I say, instead of saying, listen to who people tell you they are, just watch them. Just watch them. But he was frank. He said the hardest thing they've got between him and Marissa right now is alignment on future goals. No, let's rephrase it. The problem you're having is Marissa consenting to all your ideas of your future goals. That's really what you know what you want to do, Adam. You know what you want to do. The only holdup is Marissa consenting to it. And what he said was, I wanted an active girl who's not going to say no, who is always going to be standing on ready. And Marissa's still thinking that, oh, this is just a blimp in the road. There's no way a guy would break up with me because I don't want to play pickleball, or I don't want to ride on the jet ski. She's wrong. That's exactly who he is. He will absolutely break up with you if you don't want to play pickleball and if you don't want to ride on the jet ski. Marissa is underestimating the selfishness, the self-protectiveness that Adam has over himself. He told us last week that he don't want to do nothing anyone says because he grew up with a mom and daddy who made him do things he doesn't want to do. So now he is very rigid on protecting himself and protecting his needs and his wants. And to hell with yours. To hell with them. We started getting in a little bit more into Courtney and Nick. And this is when the gremlin started showing her ugly little head. You know, I don't even know how Courtney wakes up in the morning and looks at herself. I really don't even know how she does. She's really abusive, just like my thumbnail said, verbally abusive. She's an abuser, and she just loves cursing at this man. She loves sticking her foot up his butt, and she's going on and on about how she doesn't feel like he's being the real him. And as if he can't even have an opinion. And he said, well, yeah, the way that you're reading this story about me feeling like I can't be the real me, you're correct. Your feelings are dead on. That's exactly how I feel. He says, because whenever I try to be myself, say whatever I think, express myself, you reject me. You reject me, you curse me out, you put me down. And he says, I mirror environments of I'm in. So if you're going to be like you are, I'm going to mirror that. The next thing you know, she said, well, why are you putting it all on me? He says, because when you're with your friends, you're completely different. You're energetic, you're fun, outgoing. Because I think Courtney feels good with other women. I think she feels good with her. Courtney don't get along with no man. Let's be honest. She already had a falling out, a few words with Mecca. She talked about Devin like a dog, and she talks about her own man like a dog. There is no evidence, none whatsoever, that Courtney gets along with any man. And for Sean, she don't even talk to him. When have we ever seen Courtney even have a conversation with Sean? Never. Never. Courtney don't like men. She don't like them one bit. Maybe she believes men are her competition. I don't know what it is. But I'm quite sure that she don't like men. She views them as a threat to her, and she don't like them. And she's just awkward. She does not know how to relate to them. And instead of owning her own awkwardness, she tries to act like everyone else is the awkward one. That it's Nick who can't express his feelings. She kept saying, well, what does he need? Asking him, well, what does he need? He said, well, what I want is if I tell a joke, I want you to laugh. I don't want you whining about silly things like because I don't know how to operate an espresso machine. Basically, don't be a bitch. Is that too much to ask? Yeah, that's too much to ask. Because that's just her DNA. Her DNA is bitch type DNA. She said, I don't understand. I give you compliments. I tell you you're hunky. I say you look hot. No, you say Adam looks hot, not your husband. Adam looks hot. And then next thing you know, she starts saying, I don't know where the F your mind is. You see, this is when the better me would walk away. The better me would walk away. But I'm going to say this. If I were walking away and she started following behind me, you know how people do that? You walking away and they start following behind you, still yelling that bullshit. I think that's when I probably would turn around and slap Courtney. I'm not going to lie. I know it's not a good thing to say, but I think I would. I think I would walk away. But if she kept following behind me saying, you don't know where the F is your mind, blah, blah, that, I would turn around, take off my shoe, and hit her with it. I'm pretty sure of it. She better not mess around with no dude who's got like a history of domestic violence, because she might become a victim. She might really become a victim. When he tried to talk, she tried to act like she was authority on love. Well, this is effing love. Well, how do you know, Courtney? You really haven't even had no relationships. How do you know what love looks like? And she says, well, you're married to me. You ought to be comfortable. And there's no reason for you not to be comfortable. No, there's a lot of reason for me not to be comfortable. In fact, there's a lot of reason for me not to be comfortable, angry, hurt. Okay? We're so far away from being comfortable. We got a whole lot of other emotions going on, and none of them are on the road to being comfortable with you. Not at all. And she says that she's been effing comfortable with him. That's a lie, Courtney. I don't know who Courtney thinks she is, and I don't know who's lied to her and told her she's someone else. I don't think anyone has told Courtney she's someone else. In fact, I think a lot of people have left Courtney. A lot of people have done just what I said. They turn around and they walk away. She says she's effing trying to get to know him. It's not true. It's not true. But he read her correctly. He said she got a lot of trauma, a lot of traumatic responses. She's trying to project it on me. And next thing you know, she went into her victim mode saying everything I do is wrong. And, I'm always asking you to open up. And he says, well, you asked me to open up. You asked me to tell you my feelings. And the minute I tell you, you invalidate everything I tell you. And in the end, she can't even acknowledge that that's what she does. She turns the page and she keeps going on. And she talks about how deep she is. You're not deep. You're not deep. You're cruel and you're abusive. And she says everything he does is superficial. It's almost as if Courtney equates being kind, being respectful, with being fake and phony, because she's none of that. It's almost like she says, if you're being kind like Nick is, if you're choosing your words like Nick does, if you're trying not to tear people down with your words, you're fake and you're phony. And what I am, because I'm cursing you out and I'm dropping F-bombs, I'm the real one here. You're not real. That tells you, Courtney, that the way you see yourself is normal and you view everyone else as the problem. Where are my therapists out there? What's that called? Delusion? Okay. What's the street term? Delusion. Delulu. Okay. She goes on to say that she believes that Nick doesn't have the emotional maturity of her. Courtney, you actually have zero emotional maturity. You have zero emotional regulation. You have a hard time even identifying your own real deep emotions. The only emotion that you actually feel, Courtney, is that surface anger emotion. You don't actually feel any deeper emotion. You always show up angry. Anger is one of the most primary uh, emotions. It's like a baby who cries. You're at an infant state. And for you to say you're more emotionally intelligent or mature than Nick, get out of here. Get all the way out of here. We got to see a little bit more about Cameron and Michelle. Cameron was letting Michelle know he was yelling at kids today at work. And she said, I want to see it. She said, I want to see it because I haven't even seen you angry and I need to see different sides of you. And Cameron says, I don't want you to see that part of me. Cameron says, I ain't never been in a relationship, but what I do know is I don't want you to see any ugly part of me because if you see it, we might lose our passion. You might lose it for me. Maybe he'll lose it for her. But he says he's so happy. He's so happy, but he goes, can we sustain this level of happiness? No. No arguing. Can you sustain no arguing in the marriage? Let me give you the answer. The answer is no. Maybe y'all just need to come up with something to argue about, just so you can see how each of you will handle it at this point in time. Yeah, I'm going to sanction it. I'm going to sanction it as a provoking of a fight, just so you can see how Cameron and Michelle react during the fight, because we ain't seen it. We have not seen it all. It doesn't mean that they're not compatible, but it could mean that they're trying to avoid conflict for different reasons. Maybe Cameron believes a relationship should be perfect. Remember, he's never had one. He's never had one at all. And who knows, his parents have been together for a long time. I don't know what his parents modeled for him. Did his parents model for him that loving people can argue, disagree, but make up, right? Or did he never see his parents argue? I don't know what was modeled in his home. But Michelle is trying to coach him. She's trying to get him off the ledge because Cameron was walking close to the edge this episode, really wondering, can we sustain this level of happiness? And so Michelle, with the more maturity of the two in relationships, is trying to steady the boat, trying to get the boat to the finish line of the high seas. And she says, but it's starting to get a little shaky. She's getting nervous, right? That when Cam becomes unsteady, it makes her unsettled as well. But Michelle is steady as a rock. She really is. And I think she's going to put this marriage on her back. just like she put him on her back for that salary thing that she's going to have to do, just like she's even considering moving to Portland to save the marriage, just in case he doesn't want to move to Seattle. In this situation, when Cameron is being a bit unsure because he has no relationships experience, she's going to tell that man, get on my back. I've been here before. I know what to do. Trust me. Follow my lead and we'll be okay. Michelle said, that's okay if you don't know how to steer this ship. I do, because I know where I want to go. And all you need to do is get in the boat, be quiet, hang on, and follow my lead. She said, a commitment is a choice. And I'm giving you a choice right now that even if you don't know how to steer a relationship because you ain't never been in one, you need to commit to it and get in this boat. I don't have no doubt that these two are going to make it, because I can look at Michelle and say that she's determined. And I can look at Cameron and say that even though he may have some fears, he's going to follow her. I said it. He's going to follow her. He's going to push through his fear. Maybe she ought to use some sports metaphors. He probably can relate to that. Pushing through fear, right? Put that on him, Michelle. Teach him how to push through fear. Caitlyn is doing a little pushing through fear this episode. You know, I think Caitlyn is an extreme introvert. I think really extreme introvert, but I don't think she even admits it, which it would help solve a lot of problems if she would just admit it. Instead of saying she's a slow burn, just say that she has a very, very difficult expressing her inner feelings. Because if you look at the things she likes, Harry Potter is like sort of like a magical world, right? A lot of the stories of Harry Potter, if you look at the themes, it focuses a lot on like loss and bravery. It's almost like, because I think Caitlyn is such a fearful person and she's not very good expressing her emotions, a lot of the things that she likes, it's almost as if these characters in Harry Potter or even Taylor Swift, they give her inner feelings a voice. It's like, hey, I really can't express myself. I can't express my desires. I can't express my inner emotions. But everything I feel when it comes to relationships and love, Taylor Swift's songs just encapsulate it. So it's almost like she loves the songs because the songs can express her own feelings that she herself can't express. Caitlyn has the emotional maturity of a little child, unfortunately. Unfortunately, she has very, very little emotional maturity. And that's going to be hard for a person like Devin, who requires a lot of emotional letting loose. You understand what I'm saying? And kindness. And when you have someone that's constipated with their emotions because they don't even know what they are, it's hard for them to give anything. Remember I said last week, crumb givers, that Caitlyn was a crumb giver. There's no way that this relationship can survive. I really, really don't believe it. Devin did a whole lot of apologizing for last week. I don't think he needed to give her apology. This is a marriage experiment. This is where you guys are supposed to come and talk about your true feelings. So I don't think you should apologize about the way you feel. I don't think he was doing it with malice. I think the fact that he was saying what he said might have hurt her feelings, but his intention wasn't just to be cruel. But if I always have to change my feelings so that Caitlyn can feel good, then that's not being true to myself. Caitlyn tried to tell him that I think you just say things to get an emotion out of me. And then when you get the emotion out of me, you feel good. And he says, no, I don't thrive in conflict. You got me all wrong. All wrong. But her saying that tells me she's experienced that before. This problem Caitlyn is having, she's had it before. And maybe that was a tactic that another boyfriend did. He pushed her buttons. because she's so emotionally trapped and constipated. Maybe another person did push her buttons just to get a reaction out of her. And so she equated what Devin was doing to the same thing. I don't think so, because Devin, this was the first time Devin even spoke up. So it's not even like he does it a lot. So even when he did it one time, she viewed it as malicious because probably she's seen it before from other people because she's been here before. That's what I'm saying. A lot of times you meet people, they want to say it's you. But if you really dig deeper, you ask more questions. Has anyone else ever had this same issue with you in the past? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. The answer is yes. You know, Bale and Mecca, this brought tears to my eyes, this episode, for two reasons. One is Belle Jolie's spirit is so sweet. It's really so sweet. But I can see this Mecca guy. What I don't like about Mecca is I think Mecca is so hurt that he's becoming the person who hurts other people. We know the type of trauma Mecca's been dealing with, not feeling loved, feeling rejected. You would think he'd run to a person like a Bale. But every time there's this sweet moment, like when he brought her the flowers and put the rose petals on the floor and gave her that beautiful purse as a gift. They even shared all these deep secrets. You know, Belle Jolie told us how poor she was. She said beyond poor. She's drinking milk with snow. She's saying her mama didn't even eat for days just so the children can eat. Her mama's name was Violent. Was her mama really born with the name Violent, or did her mama rename herself Violent? If your mama names you Violent, you need to change your name. Do not embody that as a name for yourself. I believe that words are powerful, right? I have no idea how that name Violent might have even had a bearing on Belle Jolie's mother's life, but I would change my name. I really would change it. I don't care what anyone says. I would change my name because I would say, I don't know why the heck my parents named me this, but they made a mistake. And I'm not carrying this name with me. But Belle Jolie seeing her mother weather the storm, I think has brought out this resilience in Belle Jolie. She's a ride or die chick. She's like, if I can survive being beyond poor, if I can survive poverty, if I can survive being hungry, being dirt poor, I can survive this with Mecca. I've seen worse. I was saying, this is too much, Belle Jolie, for you to carry. But Belle Jolie has some strong shoulders, stronger than I imagined. And maybe they've been built since she was a child. Does that mean she should still carry it? No. But I can see that when I look at what she's going through, I would feel like it's a lot. But as I learn more about Belle Jolie, in her world, this might be peanuts. This might be nothing. Even through all her poverty life, Belle Jolie said they celebrated birthdays. They were positive. It's the same thing she's doing with Mecca now. No matter what Mecca does, Belle Jolie finds the positive rainbow in the sky. She really does have a very, very beautiful spirit. But the part I really worry about is Mecca, because Mecca keeps saying, I see that you're falling in love with me. It almost feels like another setup. Remember that setup in the bedroom where he says, I think you're more into me than I'm into you, right? You know, it's like he baits her to say she's in love with him or she wants him, only for him to turn around and reject her, right? It's like a setup. It's almost as if I'm going to do to you what I felt as a child, right? That I was rejected. And so as much as I wanted to be close to my sisters and brothers, close to my stepmom, close to my birth mom, they all rejected me. And just as you, Belle Jolie, want to be close to me, I'm going to reject you too. It really is some deep rooted stuff. And that part has me really, really afraid for Belle Jolie. But she's got strong shoulders. So I hope I'm wrong about Mecca. I hope that I'm not being cynical. I hope that maybe what I'm seeing is him just being afraid, but in the end, he'll be brave. But I haven't seen any evidence of Mecca's bravery. That's the problem. I've seen no evidence of his bravery. I've just seen evidence of moments when he's been weak, not brave. He said he cried until he was 13 years old, cried and peed in the bed because he was afraid of the whooping that's going to come. At 13, he was still getting whoopings. Mecca's a tall dude, even now. You imagine how tall he was at 13, and you mean to tell me he was still getting whoopings to the point that he would pee in the bed? That's abuse. That is abuse. Belle Jolie tried to tell him some secrets about her poverty to make him feel better. She's like, I don't want him to feel bad about peeing in the bed. So I'm going to tell him some of my deep, dark secrets that aren't so good. That she ate toothpaste for dinner. That her mom raised 5 kids with no help and they were often gone hungry. I was happy he did that 29th birthday party for her. I could tell Belle Jolie felt really, really loved by that. She took it all in. It overwhelmed her. I think she wanted to tell that man that she loved him because I do think that she loves him. But she can't stop remembering that what happened on that bed when he said, I think you're more into me than I'm into you. And so she has just enough strength to not let it come out her mouth. But it's too late. Belle Jolie loves him. She already loves him. And the sad part about it is I think Mecca knows it. And what's he going to do with it? It's like he's still trying to get the I love you out of her first before it comes out of him. I'm afraid for her. I'm really afraid. But you know who I'm not afraid for? Tori. Because Tori's got this. Tori is like a 50-year-old woman in a 30-year-old woman's body. Tori, I tell you, has the emotional maturity of a 50-year-old woman. She tracks so much older than Felipe. When she said Felipe is immature, honestly, is Felipe really immature or is Tori just so much more mature? Because Felipe's 29 years old. So yes, I think he has some immaturity to him. I really, really do. But I think what's exasperating this is just how much more mature Tori is. They may be only apart in years by like 1 or 2 years. But in terms of emotional maturity, Tori is a good 12 years older than Felipe. In fact, Tori might be my age. Let's be real. Tori might really be my age. But she letting it all come out. She telling her sister, I don't even trust this man with my dog. He says, I've never seen him do anything. Everything he's done has come from his mom or his sister. Well, welcome to the Brazilian family. That's their culture. First of all, that's their culture, okay? But she says she don't want to have to build no boy. He's too immature for her. And I agree. I agree. This is not something that I think they can work through because just like I said with Courtney and Nick, how far apart they were, I'm starting to feel the big divide between Tori and Felipe. And last week I said, I think Felipe is bored with Tori. And in that same vein, I think she's just presents too much older. It doesn't make Tori a bad person. I think Tori would pair well with an older man. Tori probably needs to date about 10 years older than her. She needs to be with a 42-year-old man. If she found herself a 42-year-old man who delayed getting married and having kids because let's say he was deep into his career and now he's 45, still wants to get married and have kids, that's who Tori ought to go find. That's exactly who she ought to go out and find. But she don't, if you can't even trust a man with your dog, I don't see how you're going to say yes on decision day. They only got another week. They only have another week. So I'm losing faith in these two as well. She said, I'm going to give you a couple of tasks, though. Can you get up and at least walk the dog? But at this point in time, Felipe, I think it's going to be a no. It's going to be a no. Sean and Nikki were off making candles with perfume scents. They were talking about money, separate accounts. And Sean just said, well, I'm going to let the woman pretty much have access to everything. And we can save for vacation houses and all this other kind of stuff. These two. They already talk about finances, but they don't have no romantic connection at all. At all. How can you see yourself sharing finances with a person if you don't even want to, as Sean said a couple of weeks ago, share sexual experiences? If I don't like you, why am I talk to you about handling money? What for? This ain't going nowhere. This is not going anywhere. What they sense in each other is when they say we have underlying values that are the same, they both do share underlying values. I keep saying that Nikki likes to chase. She don't want to be captured. And I don't think Nikki feels comfortable taking Sean home back to her girlfriends. I keep saying it over and over again. I really, really do. I think she has a problem saying, I said yes to this guy, and this is not the guy I would normally want to say yes to. They're just up here showing up. Ain't nobody even believing this story no more. I don't think anybody's really believing it. But in this group session they had at the last minute, Adam showed up to let everybody know he's now into the I don't give a damn attitude because he showed up in his boxer shorts. Remember last time he was showing up in all these flamboyant outfits, right? Trying to be seen, trying to be liked. This time he showed up in boxer shorts. Even Felipe called him out and said, hey, where'd you come from? And he said, the gym. The gym. He had on the I don't give a damn attitude, which Marissa should have seen as I'm out. This ain't no different from that little call he made with Paul Brunson when he called that other girl and said, just gotta let you know it's over. It is over. He done checked out now. He has really, really checked out. And then this was the time, this last discussion was when Courtney leaned in to that evil spirit and said to him that he don't put in no effort and that he told her, I don't feel a value to you. And she said, you would feel a value. You would know what to do if you would just listen to me and do what I say. You would be clear on what you need to do if you would just listen. And then she dropped some more F-bombs, and I was just like, WTF. Why is anyone still sitting here listening to this woman be verbally abusive? Someone needs to check her. Someone needs to put boundaries around her because she doesn't know how to put boundaries around herself. These are the type of people out in the world whereby they just keep doing what they're doing because no one ever wants to stand up to them because what they are, they're bullies. They're emotionally abusive and they're bullies. And no one ever wants to stand up to them. Everyone says, it's not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. And all they do is go along and bully people, say nasty stuff, and they assume they're getting away with it. Are they miserable? Yeah, they're miserable. They got miserable, miserable lives. But the problem is they keep creating victim after victim after victim. So when Courtney was saying, will this man run away from me? Yes, that's what they do. They run away from her. At the end of this episode, it was a cliffhanger. Do you want to get divorced tonight or end this marriage tonight? And I didn't get to see their answer. I'm just hoping and praying that the answer that comes out of Nick's mouth is a hell yeah. I want to end this marriage tonight. That's what I want to see. A hell yes. Well, let me go watch it, y'all. Let me go watch the next episode and I'll talk to you later. Bye.